And it's quite a simple concept, but we complicate it, right?
Yeah.
What common mistakes do you think some women make when it comes to relationships?
I think the biggest mistake, and I know I'm guilty of this as well, is we don't communicate our needs and we expect them to predict it. So what I mean by this is, say, for example, we want to see somebody more often. We will say, I'm not going to ask him, I'm not going to say it because he should just know. If he wanted to, he would. But the reality is, when we don't communicate our needs, we teach people the wrong way to love us. If you're late every time you pick me up and I don't say anything in that process because I don't want to look needy or I don't want to look clingy or anything like that, I'm teaching you it's okay to do that. Or if a guy is going more forward than you would like physically, this might be a little bit controversial, but I do think the men in Dubai don't desire the more wholesome, looking for a relationship kind of woman. They desire that transient woman who's here for a lifestyle and then will leave when she's got it. The woman that's actually looking to start a family and start a connection and stay here and build a home, there is very few options for that woman. But the woman who's here on holiday, who wants a good party and wants to go on a boat and wants a Cartier ring, she's in for a treat. And so what happens is the women that actually are building something here, have a career here, have a friendship network here, they will find it really difficult. But a girl that's on holiday, she'll find it the easiest place in the world to find love.
So how do we partner here in Dubai?
This might be a little bit controversial, but I do think the men in Dubai don't desire the more wholesome, looking for a relationship kind of woman. They desire that transient woman who's here for a lifestyle and then will leave when she's got it. The woman that's actually looking to start a family and start a connection and stay here and build a home, there is very few options for that woman. But the woman who's here on holiday, who wants a good party and wants to go on a boat and wants a Cartier ring, she's in for a treat. And so what happens is the women that actually are building something here, have a career here, have a friendship network here, they will find it really difficult. But a girl that's on holiday, she'll find it the easiest place in the world to find love.
So how do we change that? I mean, is that something that I guess men have innately here, or I mean, how do we change it?
I think any environment which is catering to our pleasure makes people pleasure seekers. Yeah, because I know Dubai is the best city in the world, but I like pleasure. So I love the fact that I can walk around and there's beautiful lights everywhere, there's fountain shows, there's fireworks, it's pleasure everywhere you go. It's just stimulation. And when an environment is so stimulated, it's very difficult to accept monotony. It's very difficult to look for a wife where it will be just sitting at home, you know, playing with the kids and, you know, going to see the in-laws. That starts to become a distant dream. Whereas going out every night, going here, seeing this, shows, this, that and the other, that becomes the norm. So unfortunately, we are replacing peace with pleasure in Dubai because it's so great. And the downside of that is people find it hard to be bored.
So what's your advice to women who are struggling to find a healthy relationship here?
I would say remain true to your true needs and your true desires and your true outcomes. The reality is, if what you want in life is causing you to have less options, if you compromise what you want, you're only going to set yourself up for divorce anyway. If you think, I can't find anyone, let me just try this different lifestyle, or let me just try this different type of guy, you're just prolonging the divorce and loneliness. It's still going to catch up with you. But if you remain loyal to your true and core needs and values, it might take longer to find it, but once you find it, it will be more sustainable. So I would say try and I know it's difficult in this day and age. It's so difficult. You feel lonely, you feel tired, you feel like everybody else has found someone. You see women of very different kind of backgrounds getting all they want in life, and you start to lose motivation. But in my language, there's an expression that when something comes quick, it goes quick. So it's unfortunate. It's a longer road, but the outcome will be better for you, inshallah.
Hi guys, don't forget to join my Patreon, where not only will you get exclusive information and videos every single week, but not only that, you can ask me a question anytime, and there's no limit to how many questions you can ask. So to subscribe, just click the link below.
Do you think women need to be a bit more transparent at the beginning of a relationship, or should you wait when you begin a relationship? Should you be upfront with what you want?
I would say so. And the reason I say so is because women think that let me just play it cool and eventually he'll change his mind and he'll want to get married and have kids. But what he's thinking is, this girl's cool, she doesn't want a relationship, let me keep my eyes open to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're training men to see you as a option rather than a outcome. And whereas if you communicate your needs, absolutely, it will push away a lot of men, but it will push away the ones that had the wrong intentions anyway.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean you say, oh, I want to get married, I want to do this, that, and the other, but it's simple things like you having boundaries simply means when you don't like something, you simply communicate it. You don't punish the person for not listening to you, but you communicate it. Oh, we haven't spoken all day. I start to miss you. Can you just let me know you got home okay? Little things like that. Whereas if you just say, oh, he hasn't called me in 2 days, so I'm not going to reply to him, but then when he does, I'm going to go and see him straight away. He's going to learn that that's what you accept. So it's about communicating your standards, not necessarily your future outcomes, but at least your standards. And if you don't like something, you let them know, but you don't punish them for it. You don't get angry, you let them know. And if they don't want to abide by your boundaries, no worries. It's a bit like when you go to a restaurant and you let them know your allergies. You're not going to shout at them if they, if they don't have the food you like. You're just going to go to someone else. Same thing with men. You communicate your allergies, what you don't like, what you can't accept. If they are okay with that, perfect. You got a great match. If they're not okay, if you sit there, you're just going to be poisoned. So just go somewhere else. Go to another restaurant. Go to another situation. But you have to let them know your boundaries.
And what about women who get a taste of a toxic relationship or a bad relationship and they keep going back to it?
That would be a trauma bond. What happens with a toxic relationship is they give you love in doses. So they'll give you a bit of love, then followed by a lot of trauma, then love, then trauma. And what happens is we get addicted to that love. We see potential. We're like, oh, but it used to be so good. Or do you remember when he used to do that to me? How can I let him go? So they hold on to the good and forget the trauma in between, and they end up staying with that person. But the reality is, if you have to think about when it was good, it's not good. Yeah, because a true healthy relationship, there is no, oh, but I know what he used to be, I know what we could be. It is just, we're cool, we're calm. It's not this like fireworks all day, every day, but there's that steady peace. Rather than, I remember when we used to have it good, or I remember when he was so kind. There's no holding on to memories. It's more what is going on day in, day out is more peaceful.
And if a woman right now is listening and she's going through a divorce or a breakup, how can she get over it, and what's your message to that woman?
My message would be, have a very clear vision of where you see yourself in a couple of years. And that might be married, kids, happy life. Now ask yourself, if you were to freeze time and freeze this partner, would he fit that vision? If the answer is yes, he'd be perfect, then fight for it. But if the answer is, oh no, that would be traumatic if we had kids in this environment, then you are holding on to an imaginary imagination. Well, your true vision deserves somebody else, and you to be somebody else, because we can become very toxic in a toxic relationship. So the best thing to do is remember your vision. And when you remember your vision, you start to realize, would this person fit that vision? And if the answer is no, simply be happy for them. Be happy for them. Be like, you don't fit my vision. You're not ideal for me, but I wish so you would meet someone who would fit yours, but you don't fit mine. And I wish you the best, but I have to find mine because I deserve it.
And what about long distance relationships? Do they work?
I think they are tricky in this day and age, unfortunately. It takes a tremendous amount of trust, and it takes a tremendous amount of stability created before you went long distance. So I think usually they work when there's an element of, oh, we can date other people, but when we get together, we're together. And I don't know how healthy that is, but I would say, though we've got so many channels of communication to keep relationships alive long distance, those same channels can be applied to other people in this day and age. And that's what's difficult. And people crave intimacy, whether it's emotional or physical, intellectual, whatever it is, they crave intimacy. And when they can't access their partner, sometimes they can, use those means in the wrong way. So it just depends, but I would say it's slightly difficult.
And creating imaginary situations in our head.
Well, women are amazing at that. If he hasn't replied, he's definitely, with another woman. There's no alternative. He can never just be sleeping. It's always, and I would say if you're naturally insecure, which many of us are, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Don't torture yourself with a long distance relationship because it can torture you.